Well, aloha and welcome everybody, and happy summer solstice to you. Today, if you haven't figured out, is June 21st, 2022. And it is also session 17 of working with Tao Bei, this beautiful book that Master Sha put out, Tao Calligraphy, How to Heal and Rejuvenate Your Back. I was listening to Master Sha doing a teaching the other day, and he actually was referring to aspects of this book. And Francisco was there, and he talked about how an individual had come to the physical center in Toronto, never been there before, and one of the students handed him a book and said, put it on your sore area. So he'd put it on his back, and somewhere about halfway through, this gentleman apparently had raised his hand and said, I had no idea what to expect here, but I definitely had some back pain. I put this on my back, and my back pain is gone. And he said, I haven't really done anything other than just sit here with the book and watch you guys. And so I found that to be very, very fun and interesting. So, today is like I said, session 17. And if you are new, just popping in for the first time, make sure you go back to the previous recordings. How do you do that? Well, you can go to my YouTube page, our YouTube page in Tao Center, Portland. Excuse me. And we have all of them listed there. They're all in a playlist. And then here in Facebook, if you're on our page, you just follow the tabs, and one of them says videos. You click on that and it'll take you to all of them as well. And the first couple of chapters, we covered how does Tao healing work? How does Tao calligraphy work? What is Shen Qi Jing, and how is that related to healing, and how do I heal? And most recently, Master Sha was talking about Tao Bei in this book. And he said, this is not just to heal your back. He said, does your heart have a back? The back of your heart. What about the back of your foot, the back of your toe, the back of your head? Everything has a front, everything has a back. He said, so this is to heal whatever it is you ask, because everything has a front and a back associated with it. So make sure you keep that in mind, because even though that's the title of this book, the wisdom throughout is very, very potent for all forms of healing. I do want to say hi to everybody who's joined live right now. Please make sure to put your name in the chat. I want to acknowledge you. Welcome, Risto. Great to see you here. Looking forward to connecting with each of you. And thank you, as always, for clicking the share button to let other people know about this live stream. I actually get messages after the fact, a week, 2 weeks later, people talking about that they saw this video. They weren't here live. So your share makes a big difference, and it wakes up people's heart. Last week, we focused on aspects of the 10 Da. If you remember, we've been doing this the last few sessions because every Tuesday and Thursday I'm here 4 p.m. Pacific time. And in being here, I wanted to make sure that I captured the essence of Master Sha's book. So I'm not rushing through it. I'm doing 3 or 4, maybe 5 pages more if necessary. And then I'm working with each one of the wisdoms and the practices that he provides in the book. So today's going to be no different. We're in right now into a section of this book. It's in chapter 8, and it's on the 10 Da. And for those of you that are not familiar with it, the 10 Da is, Da means greatest. So the 10 greatest. The 10 greatest what? The 10 greatest qualities, attributes, the 10 greatest ways of being towards a fellow human being and towards the source. They include the greatest love, greatest forgiveness, greatest compassion, and the greatest light. They include, last week we touched on, greatest humility and greatest harmony is what we touched on just this last Thursday. And today we're going to go into the greatest flourishing, many people's favorites. And if we have time, we're also going to cover the greatest gratitude. And the final 2 that we'll cover probably Thursday is the greatest service and greatest enlightenment, to cap off those 10 greatest qualities. I have you know how when you have, like, I'm not coughing, I don't have a sickness, I'm perfectly healthy, but I have something that's sitting there in the back of the throat, disallowing a perfectly clear voice. And the worst part is, no matter how hard I try to get it out, it doesn't want to. So I'll have to wait. Welcome, Anthea. Welcome, Terry. Welcome, Risto. What? I only see 3 of you? There's 8 of you watching live. Where are the rest of you? Say hi to me. I want to give you love. I want to acknowledge you. Thank you for being here. Say hi in the chat, and I will continue to give you the greatest love. So let's go ahead and jump on in to today's wisdom and teachings. Again, I'm reading from this book, Tao Calligraphy, to heal and rejuvenate your back. Now, one thing I want to point out to each of you is in the first section or 2 of this book. There it is. That's a barcode right there. Some of you might be QR code savvy. Some of you might not. It's right up here at the top is a website link. Everyone who buys this book gets access to a website. And on that website is 2 very special videos that Master Sha has literally hired somebody to make. And, these are very high quality videos. And within those videos are not only the Tao Source calligraphy, but specific chanting practices. And so in these chanting practices, when you do them, just like the gentleman I told you about earlier that put the book on his back, he wasn't even doing anything. He was just sitting there watching the session go by, his back healed. Well, when you go to those animations, you actually get the healing that is transmitted in them. And if that makes no sense to you, then you need to watch the videos from earlier because we explain how that works. So let's go ahead and pop into today's wisdom and teaching and sharing. And let me see if I get the right window. Great, I got it right here. So right now, you should be able to see the wisdom of Da He She. Now, we covered this last week, if you remember correctly. But I'm going to, for those that are new, just popping in for the first time, I'm going to give you just a little bit of snippet to remind you. So Da He She is the greatest harmony. And if you look at some of the wisdom from last week, it is the 6th of the 10 dot qualities. They have the 4 sacred lines. Liu Da He She, San Ren Tong Xin, Qi Li Duan Zhen, Cheng Gong Mi Zhuo. And this translates to the 6th of the greatest Das is greatest harmony. San Ren Tong Xin, 3 people who join hearts together. Their sharpness can cut through gold. And the final statement, the profound secret and key to success. So what's another way of saying that? The secret and key to success is getting at least 3 minds together and doing something collectively together. Here at Tao Central Portland, we have 3 central leaders. And I found a significant difference when we go from 2 central leaders to 3. The synergy and the bouncing off of ideas are very unique and different. And it's very easy to come to an agreement and move the ball forward when there are 3 of us. So I found that to be a very high-level wisdom. And this is not something that Master Sha has made up. This has been around for many, many years, something to keep in mind. Okay, now let's move forward. So the final statement of the 1-sentence secret before I move into today's teaching is, Da He She, the greatest harmony, is the key to success in every aspect of life. Now let's move into today's wisdom and teachings. Da Chang Shang, the greatest flourishing. And then he's highlighted underneath it, the engine for further achievement. Isn't that interesting? I have to say, I've known of Da Chang Shang in this wisdom and teachings for at least 7 years. That's the first time I have seen those words. Da Chang Shang, the greatest flourishing, the engine for further achievement. Master Sha goes on to say, I received these sacred phrases for Da Chang Shang, the greatest flourishing. Qi Da Chang Shang, Dao Si Ying Fu, Xing Shang Ji De, Dao Ye Chang Sheng. These translate to the 7th of the 10 dot qualities is the greatest flourishing. Dao Si Ying Fu means the Tao source bestows huge blessings and good fortune in any aspect of life. The next line is xing xiang ji de. And this is do kind things to accumulate virtue. And finally, the fourth phrase, Dao Ye Chang Sheng, Tao career flourishes. And Tao is the Tao source. That's some people might not know what Tao is. Tao is the source. Tao career flourishes. So I'm going to pause here and come back to it. Now, what I want to share with you is the wisdom inside here is in the third line. Okay? Pay attention to the third line. Do good and nice things, receive virtue. Right? Some of you who have done this for a while, this is not new information. Welcome, Sylvia. Great to see you here. Welcome, Carter. So happy both of you have said hi. Thank you, everybody, for sharing, letting other people know about today. Flourishing is directly related to virtue. What is virtue? Right? Virtue is something you read about in school, doing virtuous things, right? Saints have virtue, but most of us in this, in this third dimensional experience don't run around talking and throwing out the word virtue in every other sentence. But in this case, it refers to do unto others as you would do unto self, right? It refers to what are you doing with your thoughts? Are they being of value to anyone? Are they uplifting? When you walk down the street, are you saying, oh, what a lovely sight. Oh, how beautiful. That mother is giving love to the child. Or are we saying, oh, I can't believe that person's doing that, right? What's happening with our thoughts? Because our thoughts precede our words. Our words precede our thoughts, and words often precede our actions. And the great wisdom here, if you want flourishing in your life, you need to do two things. You need to stop creating blockages in your flourishing, which is doing what? Any negative thought, word, or action. That creates blockages in your flourishing. Because a negative thought, word, or action goes to the opposite side of virtue. You're creating a spiritual debt. You don't want to create an imbalance in your vibrational imprint. Tao Science, Dr. Lin, and throughout this book in chapter 5 and 6, Master Sha speaks very clearly about Tao Science. And he speaks about both positive and negative information in Shen Qi Jing. If you missed that, make sure you go back to those chapters. And the emphasis is on taking care of our positive information in our field. Because you and I have a soul, and we're walking around through the house and to the job and going here and driving there. And every time we get irritated about anything, it either originated in our vibrational field or we're adding more to our vibrational field. And every time we have a positive thought, we want to do kind to be a benefit to others. And that then also comes to our vibrational field and starts erasing that negativity stuff, right? And that equates to flourishing. How is that so? Well, Master Sha has shared, and again, this might be new for some of you, that in heaven, there is a bank account. It's a heavenly bank account. Some people refer to it as your Akashic record. Everybody has an Akashic record or a heavenly bank account. And within this bank account is all the positive and all the negative. Everything you've ever done that has uplifted, supported, and been beneficial to others. Everything you ever thought, everything you ever said. You didn't even have to do something. You could have thought it, you could have spoke it. And it would have had the same impact as if you did it. Isn't that interesting? You could think flourishing for others and would have the same impact as doing flourishing for others. So thoughts, words, and action can both benefit us and be detrimental to us. And all of our thoughts, words, and actions are recorded. I have to tell you, it's not that I didn't know that, but for the first 35, 40 years of my life, even though I knew it, I didn't want to believe it. I just refused to believe that a thought would be recorded because it's private. Why should it be recorded? And mostly I didn't want to believe it because I didn't want to have responsibility for my thoughts. That's the real truth, right? And you're probably like me. You don't want to have responsibility for your thoughts, but know this wisdom and know the ancient truth. If you're not careful about your thoughts, words, and your actions, it will harm your flourishing. If you want more flourishing, be conscientious about your thoughts, words, and actions. Instantly ask forgiveness whenever you need to. If you catch yourself giving a negative thought, instantly ask for forgiveness. This morning, I'm having some negative thoughts about the previous place I had lived. And my mind's going ding, 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 ding. What did I do? I had to stop. I had to say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to the individual I'm having these negative thoughts about. Da, 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 da. Please forgive me. Twice I had to do it in 10 minutes because the monkey mind wants to go back in. So the wisdom is there, but we have to catch ourselves, right? So really, really important, these lines. Let's go back and take a look at them one more time. Tao is the source. Ya means career. Tao Sheng means flourishing or prosperous. So Tao is the ultimate creator, which creates everyone and everything, including human beings. Tao is within everyone and everything. Every human being has Tao nature and qualities. Human beings' spiritual pollution include greed, anger, lack of wisdom in activities, actions, behaviors, speech, and thoughts, doubt, ego, and more. This all blocks our health, relationship, finances, and spiritual journey. For flourishing in every aspect of your life, one needs to communicate with Tao. You may not think you know how to communicate with Tao. What does that mean, communicate with Tao? Here we go. Tao is the way of all life. When you follow Tao principles in any aspect of life, including Tao principles of sleeping, eating, raising children, studying, working, conducting business, and more, you are communicating with Tao. Then Tao can bestow huge wisdom and success in every aspect of life. That was the second line. If you go back, the second line is what? Tao source bestows huge blessings and good fortune. Tao Ci Ying Fu. Now, if you sat here and you silently repeated Tao Ci Ying Fu, Tao Ci Ying Fu, what are you saying? Tao source bestows huge blessings and good fortune in every aspect of life. That's a pretty powerful line to be repeating. Now, let's go back. Tao creates, De nourishes everyone and everything. If you serve unconditionally, you will receive much more than someone who does not serve unconditionally. Only through unconditional service can your career be very flourishing. What is meant by career? Career is your life choice, your life path. If your life choice and your life path is not following the way of the Tao, give you a quick pause here. I was in a life flourishing path. I was doing a specific kind of real estate sales. And in the specific kind of real estate sales, there was a lot of mental, emotional manipulation to cause somebody to purchase maybe before they wanted to or needed to. That was not a good thing. I was not creating a flourishing, prosperous set of conditions for others. I was doing it for myself, but not for others. Now, this is going back about 10 years ago. And I had to make a choice to leave that over $100,000 a year income and go down to 1/3 of the level so that I could do the right thing and serve humanity properly. Sometimes we need to make choices. If we clearly know we are harming others, even though our career might flourish, if others are being harmed and we're flourishing but they are not, then this is not benefiting your bank account in heaven. And I knew that. And as difficult as it was, these kinds of choices need to be made. So let's go back. Tao creates and nourishes everyone and everything. So if you serve unconditionally, you'll receive much more than someone who does not serve unconditionally. Only through unconditional service can your career be very flourishing. If you serve others, you are following Tao principles. Therefore, your career is a Tao career. In other words, if you're serving people, if you're making a difference in people's life, you're happy with what you're doing, you know the people are benefiting, then you're in a Tao career. You're following nature's way. If you serve others selflessly, like I was doing, your career is not a Tao career. Next page. The more you apply 10 Da qualities, love, forgiveness, compassion, light, humility, harmony, within your career, within your occupation or profession, the more your work could flourish. The more you apply 10 Da in your daily life, the more every aspect of your life could flourish. And it goes on to repeat the 10 Da lines. Qi Da Chang Sheng Dao Ci Ying Fu Xin Shan Ji De Dao Ye Chang Sheng. And again, the lines in English. The seventh of the greatest qualities is flourishing. The Tao source is the one who bestows huge blessings and fortune. Not the job, not the individual, not the company or the career. Tao source is the one that bestows the huge blessings and fortune. And that is bestowed upon those who have what? Good virtue. By doing what? By being kind and accumulating that virtue. By being of unconditional service. By being in alignment in your choice of career. Then your Tao career flourishes. That's the wisdom. So Tao, to complete this teaching, Tao creates heaven, a Mother Earth, and the countless planets, stars, galaxies, and universes, including human beings. Tao and De nourish everyone and everything. Dao Ci Ying Fu means Tao bestows huge blessings and fortune in every aspect of life. So these 4 sacred phrases for Dao Ye Chang Sheng teach the secret that if everyone truly connects with the Tao, then the Tao could bestow huge blessings and fortune. And again, for anybody new, Tao simply means source. Okay. Welcome also to Sherry. Welcome Eugenia. Great to see you here. Thank you all for hitting the share button. So happy to have you all here. Let's pop into Da, the next quality, Da Ganan, the greatest gratitude, which is what? The key for progress. Master Sha goes on to say, I received these sacred phrases for Da Ganan, greatest gratitude. The first phrase is Ba Da Gan An, Dao Sheng De Yang, Zai Pei Si Hui, Dao En Yong Cun. Ba Da Gan An is the 8th of the 10 Da qualities, and that is the greatest gratitude. The next line, Dao Sheng De Yang. This translates to the Tao source creates and the De nourishes. We'll come back around to that one in a minute. The next line, Zai Pei Si Hui, Tao source cultivates and bestows wisdom and intelligence to everyone and everything. Now think about this. This is about gratitude, right? This is the 8th quality. It's about gratitude. And what are they saying? They're saying that the source creates and nourishes, and then the source cultivates and bestows wisdom and intelligence to everyone and everything. I find those interesting sentences to be filed under the quality of gratitude. The final sentence is Dao En Yong Sun. Our honor of Tao will last forever. So let's break this apart and see what the deeper wisdom is here. Master Sha goes on to say that the greatest gratitude is one of the highest qualities we could have. Think about our parents who raised us. Think about our teachers in school, elementary school, high school, college. Think about our teachers in our occupation or profession. Think about everyone who has nurtured our wisdom, knowledge, love, compassion, and more. Think of those who have been examples for us and how to act and speak. Think of those who corrected our mistakes. Without all of them, we would not have been able to grow into who we are today. We need to have gratitude to everyone who has helped us in our life. We also need to have gratitude for the lessons that we have learned in life. Doesn't matter how difficult. The lessons we learn make us wiser so that we will not make the same mistakes again. Anyone who holds the greatest gratitude will progress in every aspect of life. Gratitude should come from the heart and soul. Gratitude is so important for life. The Tao Source creates us. Tao Source nourishes us. Tao Source bestows the wisdom and the grace to us to empower us to succeed in every aspect of life. We cannot express enough gratitude to the Source and the Da. Da is the nourishment. Therefore, our honor for the favor and blessings and grace of the Source and the nourishment, the Tao and the Da, should always remain in our hearts and souls. In one sentence, Da Gan Un, the greatest gratitude, is the key for accelerating success in every aspect of life. Huge, not small, big information. So share if you received any aha moments there that maybe you didn't get before. Sometimes we have to hear things 10, 20, 30 times before it actually goes in the front door, right? Most of you are familiar with the wisdom and teachings of Dr. and Master Sha. How many times does he repeat the same thing again and again? At least 100 times. But which time did you actually get it? How many times did you get a new level of aha moment that you didn't get before? This is what he has taught us about the nature of our blockages. We have many, many mindsets, many beliefs that restrict or inhibit us from simply operating from a space of love and light. They inhibit us from ingraining these 10 Da qualities. You know, I use myself as an example. You know, these 10 qualities are so obvious. More love, more forgiveness. Who doesn't know that that's a good thing to do, right? More compassion, more light, having more humility, less ego, right? Doing things in harmony with others. These are all, you know, like obvious qualities. And yet, if you actually pay attention on any given moment, on any given day, you can catch yourself not being in harmony, not shining any light, acting in a place that is completely void of compassion, right? Holding on to a grudge and not being forgiving because you want to be right, which means you're not giving love, right? On any given day, all of us can raise our hand and say, yeah, been there. And so it's not that we don't know these qualities. It's the application of them in a moment-to-moment, day-to-day basis. In my family, with my life, you know, I've been in a relationship 9 years now. And what I've been able to observe more recently is that my wife has some auto reactions and I have some auto reactions. And they're irritated, charged auto reactions. They're not really necessary. There's really no reason for them to be there. She might say something and I'll be like, you know, have a little snip kind of response back. And it's out of my mouth before I even catch it. What does that mean? That means I'm human. That also means I am not living the qualities of the 10 Da. That means I'm not being compassionate. Why would she say something in the way she's saying it? Maybe there's something that needs to be healed there. Maybe I need to do forgiveness. Maybe I need to bring more light to the table. Maybe I need to find more harmony and reverbiage things to create more harmony. And today, one of the sentences was said this, if you employ these 10 Da qualities in your career path, you start paying attention to that coworker that you don't get along with, right? Or that boss that keeps passing you up. These are the perfect opportunity to do forgiveness. Because I promise you, if the boss is passing you up and giving the raise to somebody else, you and that boss have done this rodeo before. According to these wisdoms and teachings, you have been their boss, they have been your boss. And if they're not uplifting you in the job and the career path, it's because you didn't uplift them. So we employ these 10 qualities. We ask forgiveness forever holding anybody down, not assisting them, right? Maybe there's somebody gossiping about you. Could be a coworker, could be the neighbor. Guess what? You probably were that way and you don't even know it. Possibly earlier in this life, possibly another lifetime. What do? You employ the 10 Das. You ask forgiveness. You work to create harmony with these individuals that are being unkind. If they're being unkind, you be kind. You make up that difference. You bring food and dessert for them. You say, I'm sorry to them. You give them love and compassion. You give them forgiveness. And you can do all this at the personal level or at the soul level. Same thing for family members, same thing for everything. But specifically on Tao Chang Sheng, Master Sha was sharing in that wisdom, that when you bring these 10 Da qualities, including gratitude, which we just covered, you can really have a much more flourishing life. All right, let's do some practice, shall we? Here we go. I'm going to share a new image, and this is the image of Da Chang Sheng, the greatest flourishing. Now, Da Chang Sheng, the greatest flourishing, is one of the 10 source calligraphies. As a center leader, I'm blessed to have the authority to ask this source field, because what is placed within here, again, for anybody that's new, what's placed within here is the frequency and vibration of flourishing. It's like the highest. It's like opening up heaven's bank account and saying, could you please pour some on me? But what heaven does is they don't pour the money directly on you. They pour virtue onto you. And how do they do that? We do that by interacting with the source calligraphy. It acts as a portal, a medium through which the love and light can come to you. So repeat after me. Dear the source frequency, love and light of Da Chang Sheng that has been created within this source calligraphy when Master Sha created it. I love you. I'm so grateful. There's that grateful. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. I'm so grateful to be here today that I can interact with you, trace you, and receive your most pure, positive frequency and vibration to transform any negative information I've given myself or others, especially if that negative information has inhibited my finances and my flourishing. I'm so grateful to receive your blessings to transform this negative information. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to touch all 5 fingers together like this. And we're going to go around the circle 3 times, starting at the top. We go around 3 times. And then on the 3rd time, we drop down in. And you can see exactly where you drop down in. You follow those lines. And basically, you just follow all the way around. You do this in a nice, gentle method, nice, gentle pathway. And we're going to add mantra chanting, which is one of the 6 powers. We just did soul power connection. This is the body power. Mantra is the sound power. And I want you to visualize the huge light coming from this to your soul, clearing the negative information that you might be holding about your own financial blessings and flourishings. And it might be clearing negative information you've given to others. So let's trace, let's receive the blessings. And we'll chant together. Da Chang Sheng, 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 Da Chang Sheng. Greatest flourishing, 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 greatest flourishing. Da Tang Shung, Da Chang Sheng, Da Chang Sheng, Da Chang Sheng, greatest flourishing, greatest flourishing, greatest flourishing, greatest flourishing. Dao Ye Chang Sheng, Dao Tzu Ying Fu, Zai Pei Tzu Hui, Dao En Yong Cun. Those are the 4 lines. I'll continue to chant. You continue to trace. Sorry, that was the that was the greatest gratitude. Now I'll sing the other one. Ba da gan an, Dao sheng de yang, Zai pei tzu hui, Dao en yong cun. Ba da gan an, Dao sheng de yang, Zai pei tzu hui, Dao en yong cun. Ba da gan an, Dao sheng de yang, Zai pei tzu hui, Dao en yong cun. Try to memorize it. Try to sing with me. Ba da gan an, Dao sheng de yang, Zai pei tzu hui, Dao en yong cun. Ba da gan an, Dao sheng de yang, Zai pei tzu hui, Dao en yong cun. Last round. Ba da gan an, Dao sheng de yang, Zai pei tzu hui, Dao en yong cun. So now we're going to move to the next Da. Da gan un. Da gan un is a wonderful quality. And so we're going to chant the mantra for Da gan un. Ba da gan un, Dao sheng de yang, Zai pei tzu hui, Dao en yong cun. Ba da gan un, Dao Sheng De Yang Zai Pei Zi Hui Dao En Yong Sun. So we finished the Dao Cheng Kung. Now we'll chant the mantra for the greatest gratitude. If you don't know it, that's okay. Silently chant greatest gratitude, continue to trace. Joda Fu. Oh, this is Joda Fu. Okay, so we were chanting the correct one. Ba Da Gan En Dao Sheng De Yang Zai Pei Zi Hui Dao En Yong Sun. Greatest gratitude, 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 greatest gratitude. Ba Da Gan En Dao Sheng De Yang Zai Pei Zi Hui Dao En Yong Sun. Last round. Ba Da Gan En Dao Sheng De Yang Zai Pei Zi Hui Dao En Yong Sun. Coming to the end of the source calligraphy, I invite you to, from your heart, bow your head inside your heart, say thank you, thank you, thank you. What a beautiful opportunity to practice within the 10 Tao source healing field. And I wish to offer my gratitude to Master Sha, both for writing this book and sharing this very potent and advanced wisdom. As advanced as it is incredibly simple. So please comment, share anything you might have seen, if you have spiritual light, anything you might have noticed while tracing, if you felt any heat moving in your body, any vibration, anything you may have experienced, please share. I would love to read about it. And I also want to make sure that you are familiar with what Tao Central Portland has to offer. We have ongoing membership program. It has up to 40 classes a month that you can attend. Being in a healing field like this, this weekend we have a couple of special activities, one being Tao Hands, another one being Dr. Lynn. She's leading two special classes. One is on the divine love. You know, have you ever had issues with self-love? You just can't seem to connect to the source. You've been dumped on, you have traumas in your life, you can't heal from those traumas. That's because your heart center is blocked. Divine love is a step-by-step, one course at a time, 6-week course that opens up the heart, releases the trauma, and reconnects you to the source. It is by far one of the most advanced courses that I've ever come across. And the ability to join is still present. There's 3 levels. We're at level 1, the first 6-week session. And you can find that information. I'll reach out and grab the links right now to make it easy for you. But do, by all means, come register, check it out. I believe this Friday, Dr. Berlin will be doing a demonstration on it. So you have the greatest opportunity to learn more about it. And you want to be around her when she's doing these kinds of demonstrations. So that's happening Saturday. I just put that link in the chat. This Saturday, June 25. And there's another event. If you love Tao calligraphy, you're going to want to come to this. Dr. Lin on Sunday is doing a Tao calligraphy training on Da Chen Bei. Now, we just talked about this last week. And so it tells me it's showing up in YouTube, but not in Facebook. But it looks to look like it's showing up for me. So we'll see what happens. Let me know if you don't get it. So she's teaching on Tao calligraphy, Da Chen Bei, teaching you how to write Tao calligraphy, teaching you the deeper wisdom of the writing. And what you may not truly understand is by actually writing Tao calligraphy, you know, water paper doesn't matter. You're literally self-correcting your blockages. It is one of the most fun and yet purifying, cleansing things you can do. You're just writing a few simple characters, right? But to get it correct, it really realigns your entire soul, heart, mind, and body. So the links are in there. Make sure that you register. Now, here's where it gets fun. If you register, no, can't do that. Yeah, you would have to have been in the previous course. So I can't extend that to you. Register for one, register for both. They will serve you well. Okay? Thank you, Risto says, for a beautiful session. Tingling sensations. Cass says, it's interesting to trace the calligraphies when the calligraphy doesn't completely sit in three-dimensional on-paper space. Yeah, the frequency and vibration within the calligraphies are very high. And for those with spiritual eye, they can see the light and frequency emanating from them. Okay, so make sure you click on those links. Also, come this Friday night, there will be a demonstration on the Tao calligraphy and the divine love. Lynn will be talking about both those opportunities. I can't tell you enough how powerful and important they are. And if you don't have the link for our Friday opportunities, then just send an email to TCP customer service. I'm typing it in at drshaw.com. Yeah, I spelled it right. Good. So that's in the chat too. And we can send you those links. Now, of course, we put it all over our social media. So that's another way to find it. Come to our page where you're at now. And if you came in late, you missed some of this. This will be a recording in just a few minutes, so you can watch it again. So I'll send you my greatest love. Come back Thursday. I will be here, same time, same place. Wednesdays and Fridays, we have either Terry or Lori leading you in practices directly related to this book. Okay, so I do some of the wisdom teachings and practices. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, Wednesdays and Fridays, the other parts of the book ends, basically 4 days in a row. You have Terry or Lori leading you in actual practices. So make sure you come back tomorrow, same time, same place, and get some of these practices in that Terry will be leading. Okay, love you, love you, love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye, everybody.